What's up, guys? Just a quick announcement before getting into today's vlog. I'm hosting a bounty tournament on clubwpt.com on Sunday, September the 25th. You can sign up to clubwpt.com for 1 month for free using code Andrew22. The winner of this bounty tournament is going to get a $12,000 package to the WPT championships at the Win in December. And whoever manages to knock me out of this bounty tournament is going to get a $2,500 WPT Prime package. Now, Brad won his hosted tournament on Club WPT. Am I gonna win mine also? Highly doubt it. So hop on in there, score yourself some prizes. I'm gonna stream the whole thing as long as I'm in it, which is probably not gonna be the whole thing. But yeah, hop on in there. Hope to see you then. Off to today's vlog now.
What's up, guys? Hello from Tampa. We're here at the Seminole Hard Rock in Tampa, Florida. Made it here for the WPT event. There's tournaments, there's cash games, there's a meetup game. The main event here is a $3,500 tournament. I'm just overly excited. This hotel room is sick. Look at this view, you guys. Look at this view. Boom! Look at that, you guys. Look at this view. If you guys know anything about me at this point, after recent vlogs, you will know that a salted caramel flavored iced latte is within my list of flavors. That is breakfast item number 1. Breakfast item number 2 is turkey sandwich from this place, Constant Grind, which is found in the casino here at Seminole Hard Rock, Tampa, Florida. Anyway, we're here. I just registered for a tournament, again, happening here in the event center, $600 buy-in. You know what's great about poker vlogging is that you guys get to enjoy this from the comfort of your couch, whereas I have to put in the grind, and you guys get to skip forward to something very exciting that will happen a little bit later, for you immediately. That exciting thing is either A, me busting, or B, being in the money. Let's jump to that right now. Either one of those results right now.
Guys, you are never gonna believe this. I am out of the tournament. Out of there. Shocking, I know. All right, this, my friends, is the poker room here at Seminole, Tampa, Florida, where I will be hanging out and playing some cash games this evening, unless I go play the $400 tournament, which I'm feeling like I might skip and just get in the mix here in the cash games. All right, so I actually played a little bit of cash last night. I played for a few hours, actually. There was a 2-5-10 game going on, a 3-blind game. So there's 2-5 that goes there, there's 2-5-10, there's 10-10, which actually plays as 10-20 typically. I'm gonna wanna get in that 10-10 at some point on this trip, maybe even tonight, we'll see. But the 2-5-10 I played last night, one pretty interesting hand from that game where I opened the ace-queen offsuit, the ace of spades, the queen of hearts to $40, cutoff calls in the small blind 3-bets to $225. Couple of options here, could flat, could 3-bet. I don't mind either of those options. This player looks like he'd been playing kind of snug so far. Of course, not a big history with anybody here, being my first time in Tampa ever. I'm gonna call here, try and navigate my way. Other player in position, fold. So heads up to a flop, giving us top pair, backdoor flush draw, queen, 10, something with 2 spades. He continues, C-bet of $175. We have a very straightforward call here. Turn is where things start getting interesting. It's another spade, jack of spades. We have the nut flush blocker, nut flush draw. We lose to some hands such as ace king, pocket kings, pocket aces, pocket jacks, pocket tens, pocket queens, pocket something, whatever that other something card was on the flop. My opponent bets $425 this time. I don't think we need to turn this hand into a bluff, at least not yet. We have top pair, top kicker. Feels like we are strong enough to just call here, play in position, and see a river. So I toss in the call, we're off to a river, which comes another jack. So pairs the board, and now my opponent wagers all of his money. He's all in for somewhere around $1,400, I think. Very interesting spot here. Now, I don't think this is a spot where he's going to be jamming for value with ace king, even if he has the king of spades, because he loses to flushes, loses to full houses. Is he jamming pocket aces and pocket kings here on a pretty connected board here? I don't know. Then again, what is he turning into a bluff? Is he turning some other hands into a bluff? Pocket nines with the 9 of spades, king 10 with a spade. Is he turning a hand like that into a bluff? Tough spot here. We do have the nut flush blocker. We've got full house blocker in the queen in our hand. So I don't know. I think it's pretty close here. I think you could maybe flip a coin, but I think with all of those cards, all those key cards, kind of lean towards calling here and not folding. So I'm a curious cat. You guys know that. I toss in the call. What you got, my friend? And my friend shows us quads. Pocket jacks. The old backdoor quad draw comes in. He only needed the one jack to make the best hand on the turn there. So we lose that one in a pretty big pot in the early going in our trip here down to Tampa. There was one other hand that was pretty interesting where a player limped in middle position. We have queen 9 of diamonds on the button. The very long story is that this flop comes down with the king of diamonds and the jack of diamonds, giving us a straight flush draw on the flop. Somehow my opponent manages to get all in here for over 100 big blinds with ace jack. So yeah, he check raised the flop. I just go all in, and he calls it off with ace jack, which is the best hand in the moment. We're actually a favorite versus that hand, but we can't get there. So we're small favorite in that hand, so we lose that one as well. Tried to grind it back last night, but wasn't able to do so. Those were the main 2 hands that did not go our way, and so we end up booking a loss of $2,900 last night. Perhaps could have played that ace-queen hand differently, but the queen 9 of diamonds hand, happy to get the money in as a favorite. And that hand in particular, if we win that hand, it's basically break even or a small loss, but it doesn't go our way in that one. So off to a loss here in the early days of the WPT Tampa trip. Now, I have found myself in the Pot Limit Omaha game. There's a 5-5-10 PLO game going, and that's where I'm seated right now. It's a rock game, just the same as at the Aria where they play 5-5-10. In this hand, the rock is on the button. The blinds limp in. We look down at ace, king, deuce, deuce, double suited. I make it 50 to go. Hijack and the blinds call. Flop goes down ace, jack, 5, 2 clubs, 1 heart. Blinds check, I bet $125. The hijack calls and the blinds get out of the way. Turns to 7 of spades, which doesn't change anything. So I'm gonna ramp it up here since that card doesn't change the board at all. I bet $425. My opponent thinks for a bit and calls again. So getting a little sketchy here with just the 1 pair, good kicker. Rivers an offsuit queen, which I have mixed feelings about. Most of the draws brick out, although there is a potential straight on board now. We have a king, which blocks that. So I'm gonna go into check call mode here. I don't think I can get value from worse. It's gonna be a tough decision whether to check call or check fold, but leaning towards check call. However, thankfully it doesn't come to that when my opponent checks back, and I announce 1 pair, and that 1 pair is the winner. So dragging a pot there in the early going in this PLO game. One more hand, there's a couple limps, and we look down at double suited aces on the button. Ace, ace, jack, 6. Make it 60 to go, and we get 3 callers. Flop is a favorable one, ace, 10, 9 with 2 hearts, giving us the current nuts. Small blind checks, the big blind leads out for $250. Don't mind it, having the nuts, of course. Player on my right folds, and I'm potting it. Not gonna mess about here with the multiple draws on board, and we don't block those. So I raise it the maximum. Small blind folds, and the player in the big blind is all in for about $1,500. He asked if we want to go once or twice. I think about it briefly, but eventually decide to let him make the choice, and he says twice. So we are off to the races versus a hand that we'd prefer not to see. Queen, jack, 10, 6 with 3 hearts. Bad news is that he is live versus us. Of course, we prefer him to have a set or 2 pair or something, but he's got himself an open-ender plus hearts. Good news for us is that he has 3 hearts, and we're actually we're doing okay here. We're a favorite. We're a slight favorite, 57%. We're usually going to chop it though if we run it twice. So let's see what happens here. Unfortunately, the first board is good for him as he makes both a straight and then a flush. However, on the second board, we make a full house right away, which is good news because he actually makes a straight on the river, but that's no good versus a full house. So we profit a little bit in that hand with the other players calling pre-flop, but chop that one up. All right, up a little bit in this cash game. I'm sure there'll be more action here. There's always a lot of action down in Florida. This is one of the markets where there's the most action, I would say. I would list Texas and California towards the top of that list. Florida is definitely a contender. Some northeast spots and some other spots scattered about. Florida definitely a top contender as far as the action goes. So expecting a lot more of it, especially with the WPT happening in town. Let's go try and make some money.
Good morning from the next day, from when I just last left you. So where were we? I had played some pot limit Omaha, and then it was time for dinner, which I went and enjoyed at the noodle bar downstairs. Very good noodle bar. There's like almost always a wait. There's a line because it's so good. It's worth it. The line moves quickly. After that, we got into some more poker, and I went back to the No Limit Streets. First off, into the 2-5-10 game, which has a $2,000 max buy-in. Bought into that while I put myself on the wait list for the 10-10, usually 20 game. So a quick hand from the 2-5-10 streets. We look down at the second best hand ever created in early position. We find pocket kings, and I raise it up to $35. The small blind and the straddle are called, so 3 ways to a flop here. It's a good one, you guys. King 8-7 with 2 spades, top set. The players, they check it over to me, the initial raiser, and I'm gonna bet it here. There's a lot of times where I might check back, top set, this isn't one of them. Multi-way, draws available, let's bet it. I wager $60. Small blind makes the call, straddler gets out of the way, so heads up to a turn card, which is an offsuit 4. He checks, no reason to stop betting, so I choose a size of 130 bucks. He thinks about it for a little bit, and then he calls again. Rivers and ace of spades, it's not my favorite card. If I could choose one, it wouldn't be this one. Front door flush arrives, and the ace comes in, which could make it tough to get value from worse hands also. He does check it over to me after checking his hold cards. So I don't know if that's some sort of a tell of some sort, but I am going to try and get some value here again. I think checking back is just way too weak, but I am gonna wager on the smaller side. I'm gonna bet small because what am I trying to get value from here? Does he somehow have an ace? It seems unlikely after he check calls 2 streets here. What aces could he have? Ace king is unlikely, single ace holdings are unlikely, so it would have to be a hand like ace 8 perhaps, and then check calling that for 2 streets multi-way seems optimistic. So I'm just gonna bet small here and hope we get a crying call from something. I'm not sure what exactly, but I bet $180 and my opponent thinks for a while before tossing in the call. We do get called, I show it down, and we win. So we pick up a nice little pot here after dinner, back in the No Limit Streets, and then after that, my name gets called for the 10, 10, 20. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here, but get excited. 10, 10, 20, here we go. I take all the chips from that previous game into the new game. It turns out it's $2,925 I'm buying in for, which is 75 below the 3K maximum buy-in. Interesting hand here in the early going where the cutoff raises it up to $75. Button makes the call. We are in the straddle spot, the $20 spot with the ace-jack offsuit. Definitely a squeezing candidate here. Playing out of position, multi-way with this one, not ideal. Let's raise it up, let's try and take it down. I make it $330 to go. They're not having it, they're both calling. So our squeeze attempt fails. Now we do have to play multi-way out of position and in a bloated pot, no less. So 3 ways to a flop. 8-5-3 rainbow. I don't know, maybe worth a check here, but there's some cards that are going to be good for us, particularly all the high cards that could come on the turn. Ace, king, queen, jack. All those cards are going to be worth another barrel, either as a bluff or for value. So I'm going to take a stab here. I bet $375. That bet doesn't work. It gets called by the initial raiser and the cutoff and the player on the button. So we're gonna need one of those cards to continue here, to continue firing and to give ourselves a shot, but it doesn't happen on the turn. It comes a 4 instead, which is a terrible card for our hand and our range. So I check, give up here. The player on the cutoff checks and the player on the button bets a lot of money. She goes all in. for approximately $1,500 or something like that. We have an easy fold here. I paid attention to the hands after the video stopped recording here. The player in the cutoff makes a good laydown with pocket jacks, and the player on the button had ace deuce of diamonds. So that player turned a straight, and we were actually in not that great a shape. Although versus the ace deuce diamonds, good to get called by that hand, but we're actually up against pocket jacks here, so does not work out in our favor. Although, you know, if we do find some high card holdings, we find a king, a queen, we can you know, bluff those pocket jacks out of the pot. If it becomes an ace, we will make the best hand versus the ace deuce. So not the worst situation of all time, but doesn't work out in this instance. All right, in this next hand, we look down at pocket nines first to act. I make it $75 to go. There's two callers, and the straddler is in a prime squeezing spot now, and he makes it $475 to go. Big raise here. I didn't fly all the way to Tampa, Florida. I live in Las Vegas, guys. That's a fairly long distance. I mean, I did just come from New Orleans. Boosie and I, we were there for 3 nights. We had a great time. It's only an hour-and-a-half flight, New Orleans to Tampa. So it's really not that far in that regard. But I live in the desert, and we're in Florida. And I'm just gonna try and find whatever reason I can to make this call here. We're not exactly getting the best odds here to set mine, but I have a feeling these other guys behind me are gonna call as well, because they didn't come all the way so I make the call, and both those other guys, they call too. So we're, you know, usually these pocket nines, usually with small and middling pairs, it's gonna be pretty easy to navigate anyway. Usually flop a set, you're in there. Don't flop a set, you're out of there. Some people say no set, no bet. Not exactly my motto, but in these kinds of instances in a 3-bet pot, that's probably gonna be the case. All right, 4 ways to a flop. 7, 6, 5 with 2 hearts. And now the action checks over to me. So, you know when I said no set, no bet, and this will be very easy to play if we don't make a set. Flop a set, you're in there. Don't flop a set, you're out of there. I'm an idiot. This is an interesting spot here. We have ourselves an overpair, and we only have ourselves maybe a little bit more than the amount of money that's in the pot. We've got about $2,200 in our stack, and every turn card potentially is going to be a sketchy one. So I don't think that we have too much choice now that we've come and put ourselves in this spot. Again, overpair, about a pot size bet left, multi-way, not gonna like a lot of turn cards. We're gonna be all in here. I shove all the chips in here, and the player on my left goes into the tank a bit and asks how much it is. We find out how much it is, and then that player makes the call. Another player in the blinds thinks about it for quite some time before eventually folding, and the 3-better begrudgingly folds it. The player who makes the call asks if I want to go once or twice and shows his hand, and he's got pocket 7s. So that's not good. That's not a good situation, guys. That's not good. I leave it up to him. I say I don't really care, and he chooses twice. So we're off to look for some help here. We are looking for a 9 or an 8 to make a straight. First board runs out, not in our favor. So we are looking for help on the second board to chop this pot. The turn card does not help, and the river card does in fact help. The river card on the second board is an 8, and therefore, not only are we chopping this pot, but we are profiting about $400 because of the pre-flop raises and calls. So, very crucial hand there to find a win. Again, I don't know if I could do anything different aside from folding pre-flop, of course, getting suspect odds to flop a set. But once that flop comes down, straightforward, and we find a much needed 8 on the river there in a crucial pot. All right, this next hand is nowhere near as exciting, I guess, and as the pot is nowhere near as big, but it's a fun one anyway. I open up the Jack 3 of hearts on the button. Straddle calls, heads up to a flop of Jack 9-7 rainbow. Flop ourselves top pair here, and the straddle leads right out, leads into me on this board. $75, I call, easy call. Turn is a deuce of spades, second spade. Bets again for $100 this time. Not going anywhere. I call with my top pair, fantastic kicker. River's a 5 of spades, completing it back to a flush. She does not stop betting, this time $125. What do you have? I have top pair still. Love my kicker. I'm gonna call, prove me wrong, and that player cannot. King 7 of diamonds loses to the Jack 3 of hearts. And you know, sometimes you just hold on, you make top pair, you call down, you win. Sometimes poker is very easy.
All right, next hand, probably one that I played very poorly. I opened the ace jack offsuit to $60 from under the gun. We see two callers and we see a flop of queen 10-8 with two hearts. Flop action checks over to me. We could check here. We could definitely check here considering this flop should hit the opponent's ranges pretty hard. But I think we've got some reasonably good equity with a double gutter plus backdoor flush draw. We could barrel on some turned hearts and we can turn the nuts on a king and make a straight on a 9. So I choose to bet it. I'm not sure it's a great decision, but I do bet it $175. First guy immediately check raises us up to $625. Of course, can't fold here with all those things that are going on after the straddler gets out of the way. So I'm gonna make the call here. It's a big wager to have to call here on a draw. Looking for some help here. We make a pair on the turn. The turn is a jack. My opponent checks it to me now, and we have to decide if we want to represent ace-king. I don't know if ace-king makes too much sense here unless it's specifically ace-king of hearts. I decide to check it back here. We have a pair, we have some showdown value. Still looking to improve on the river, which we cannot. It's an offsuit 6. My opponent, he finds the encouragement to now wager a lot of money. I believe $1,400 is his chosen wager size. We cannot call with a pair of jacks here. I don't think that would be quite optimistic. So I'm just gonna let it go here. Not sure I love my c-bet on the flop. Kind of put us into a tough, bloated spot there. And maybe if we just check it back, maybe we can navigate for a little bit cheaper on a board that is sure to connect with somebody's hand. So I don't know, let it go, lose some money there, but life goes on. All right, this next hand, we are first to act, and we open up the ace queen offsuit 60. There's two callers, and it's another squeeze spot for the player in the big blinds who makes it $400 to go. So pretty interesting spot here with the ace queen offsuit. I don't think I want to flat here and potentially allow players in behind me as seen in previous hands. We have an offsuit ace queen. Not gonna play that well multi-way, I don't think. And we've got ourselves a pretty solid range here from under the gun, opening it up. And I think my opponent doesn't have to be too strong when he puts in that squeeze. So the only question here is if we're gonna put in a 4-bet, what sizing? Because we've got ourselves, again, about $2,200 now. And if I make it $950, that's giving him a pretty good price. And do I want to re-raise fold ace queen? I don't know. I sort of like applying the maximum pressure. All in, if we do get called, hopefully we have ourselves a 1 in 3 chance to win the hand anyway. Hopefully we're just not stone dead to aces. Any other hand, we can potentially find the occasional win. But again, I think we can do okay range versus range in this spot with good removal to good hands. I'm all in. All those words add up to all in. $2,200 into the middle. Players in between are squeezed out of the pot, and the player in the big blind goes deep into the tank, thinking for quite some time, and he eventually folds it. So you'd love to see it. That's a, let's see, $520, $530, $540 with the straddles, $540 win with no post-flop action. Always a treat. So my opponent later on said that he had ace queen. So that's even better to win all that money in what should be a chopping situation equity-wise. One more hand from the very wee hours. We are approaching 4 in the morning at this point, and you can tell because my filming skills have fallen off the cliff. Too tired to be on the trigger, the camera at all moments, but a hand that must be reported. It's a doozy. We find pocket 6s under the gun, playing 4-handed, so under the gun is actually on the button here. Make it 60 to go. Only the player in the straddle calls, so heads up to a flop which comes down favorable for the 6s. Queen 6-3 with a flush draw. He checks, I wager $70, and he check raises. You'd love to see that. He makes it $225 to go. I assume we always had the best hand here. I assume we would have heard from pocket queens pre-flop. So I'm gonna put in a flat call here. We could look to click it back. I think that's a reasonable option, or we could flat call here, and that's the option that I choose, being in position. As I'm in position, I can always make sure that there is a bet that happens on each street. So I flat call, and we're off to a turn card, which is another 3. Brings in a potential backdoor flush draw. It's the 3 of hearts, so 2 diamonds, 2 hearts now. And my opponent does not stop betting. He bets $800 here, which I believe is what's known as an overbet. Love it. I don't see any reason to jam it in here. We're gonna have somewhere around $1,400 or $1,500 after the $800 wager, and again, no reason to raise now that we have a full house and we're not afraid of any card on the river, aside from maybe a queen, but that's not that many cards. So I'm gonna flat call here, and we go to a river card, which is another 6. We end up with quads. So I think that's a pretty good card because I don't think he should put us on a 6 ever. He does check it, however, which is kind of surprising and a little bit disappointing, of course, because I have quads. I will be disappointed if he ends up having a draw here that does not pay off on the river, but we're just gonna have to try and get the maximum. At this point, I shove all in, and the amount comes to somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. And he goes into the tank, which is great because that means he doesn't have a missed draw. Must have a good queen, maybe even a slow played pocket kings or pocket aces. Kind of doubt it though, four-handed. Thinking for quite some time here, and he eventually decides on a call. So we have the nuts, you guys. That means we win. We win a big pot here at the end of the night into the morning hours. Pocket sixes results in quads, which results in a massive pot here. We finally wrap it up at that point. Get into this game, I believe for $4,000. I think I added on an additional 1,000. Cash out of the game for $6,540. So it's not a massive win, especially considering the stakes, but I was stuck. It was a roller coaster session. I was up, I was down, and a couple more of those each throughout the night. But we book a win of $1,540, which I'm happy about because it puts us pretty close to even, I think, on the trip. Is that right? Is that right? I'll have to do some math. But we got a lot more poker to be played here at the Seminole for the WPT Tampa stop. There's a $1,200 tournament that is going on right now, which I am going to run downstairs and join. I'm gonna join that tournament. I'm gonna late reg that thing. We'll see how that goes. And then there's more cash games. There's a meetup game on Thursday. There's the main event. It's a $3,500 buy-in. So there's tons more poker to be played here. The schedule is just insane. It's poker every day. It's traveling all the time, and it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. Right now it's fun. Will we approach burnout? I'm not sure, but from here I go to Austin. Fall Mayhem series happening at the Lodge. After that I go back to Vegas, and then after that we go to Australia. The Star Casino in the Gold Coast, Australia is a go. There's a meetup game on the 21st at the Star, Gold Coast, Australia. Brad Owen will be there. We'll both be there. Meetup game team in full force, and tournaments and cash games and tons of fun and drone flying. I will fly the drone out there. I almost guarantee it. If you are liking all of the poker and traveling and all the above, would love it if you would click the subscribe and thumbs up and all that stuff. All right, guys, I'm off. Wish me luck. Good luck to you guys. Take care. See you soon. More poker to come. Cheers.